Then he placed his hands on him and said, Brother Saul, the Lord Jesus, who appeared to you on the road you were traveling, has sent me to you so that you can regain your sight and be filled with the Holy Spirit. At once, something like scales fell from his eyes, and he regained his sight, and then he got up and was baptized. And after taking some food, he regained his strength. Saul was with the disciples in Damascus for some days. Immediately, he began proclaiming Jesus in the synagogues. So, here's Saul. And just so you know a little background about Saul. Saul was an educated man. Extremely educated. He knew everything there was to know about the law. He knew everything as far as he was concerned that there was to know about God. So much, though, that it offended him when these so-called Christians were coming in saying that they were worshiping God, but they were really following a man named Jesus. It upset him so bad that he decided, I'm going to start just imprisoning them. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. I'm going to fight for my God. I'm going to stand up for him, and I will not let these people hurt my God's name. Did it all in the name of God. See, here's the thing. For all that Saul knew about God, he had never really met God. See, it says that even though his eyes were open, he couldn't see. He had all this knowledge of God. But here's what it was. And it was for a lot of the Pharisees and a lot of the religious leaders of that day. But Saul had a list of laws that as he followed them, he could check them off one by one. God became a checklist to Saul. You ever been there? I went to church this week. I prayed every day. I read my Bible every day. I started fasting. I know God's going to come through. I know He's going to come through. He's going to be so proud of me. He's going to be so proud. Saul had taken worship that's supposed to be all about God and made it all about Him. It was all about him holding up his list saying, look at me! Look at all the check marks I have. I'm a good Christian. Aren't you proud? Aren't you really proud? Saul was completely knowledgeable of the religion of God. He was missing the relationship. And it's so funny because God, having this sense of humor, knowing that Saul had been spiritually blind, now made them physically blind. So much to the point, Paul couldn't even go where God had told him to go without some people coming alongside him and giving him a hand. Thank God for those brothers and sisters in Christ who come along and help us when we're weak. Saul, at this point, Saul has no clue where he's going. He has to trust God to use the people that He's put in his life to get him to where he needs to be. And then the very person that he wanted to kill is going to come and remove his blindness. You know what God was telling Saul? Saul, this ain't about you. This ain't about your checklist. This ain't about a list of do's and don'ts that point back to you and how amazing you are. This is about me and this is about others. You can't do this on your own. Only I can do this for you. It's not about you. It's about me. It's about people like Ananias. And you need them more than you know. Next person we're going to look at, we're going to come back to Paul in just a minute, but we're going to look at Peter. Peter is one of my favorite characters in the Bible because while he was very excited and very outgoing, and man, he was hardcore for Jesus. He did some stuff. He really did. And I can relate to that, and that's why I like him so much, because I do some dumb stuff. I keep laughing. I think I do some dumb stuff too, okay? You can hide it, but not from everybody all the time. But Peter, he was all about Jesus. Even to the point that when Jesus was getting ready to be taken away, Peter cut off a dude's ear. It's like, no, I ain't taking my Jesus. I cut your ear off. And guess what's next? Alright? So he was serious, okay? But only a few hours later, we pick up in Matthew chapter 26, verse 69. Now Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard. A servant approached him and he said, "You were with Jesus the Galilean too." See, at this point they had taken Jesus and they were bringing him to the court so they could try him and crucify him. And so Peter's in the courtyard, and then in verse 70 it says, "But he denied in front of everyone." I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, Jesus. I have no clue what you're talking about. When he had gone out to the gateway, another woman saw him and told those who were there, "This man was with Jesus the Nazarene." And again he denied it with an oath, "I do not know the man." After a little while, those standing there approached and said to Peter, "You certainly are one of them, since even your accent gives you away." Then he started to curse and to swear an oath to them, "I don't know that man." Immediately a rooster crowed, and Peter remembered the words of Jesus that Jesus had spoken. "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." And he went outside and wept bitterly. See, Jesus had told Peter, "You're going to deny me." Peter was like, "I ain't denying you. I just got somebody's ear off." "Really? I'm your boy. I got your back." So yet again, how did Peter get to this point? Well, see, here's the thing about Peter. Peter expected Jesus to be a military leader. He expected Jesus to come and lead a military that would free them from the Roman government. And he was so excited about it. And Jesus was an amazing man, and he loved him and everything else. But as soon as Jesus went in his own direction, and he was taken away, and he didn't meet Peter's expectations, Peter didn't want to know him anymore. See, Peter had a distorted set of expectations for who God should be in his life through the person of Jesus. And so when all of a sudden Jesus didn't live up to those crazy expectations that were Peter's expectations, by the way, not God's expectations for Jesus, Peter didn't know what to do. He was upset. He was hurt. Kind of the way we get sometimes. Somebody hurts us, I don't even know him no more. I don't even know him. I used to know him. Made me mad. I don't know him.